Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with a wrestling recap for you. And real quick, we're going to run through what happened at WWE's Money in the Bank 2021 held last night in the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. This was WWE's first pay-per-view on the road in front of a live, jam-packed crowd since Elimination Chamber of last March. Yes, WrestleMania was filled, but they didn't fill up the Raymond James Stadium. They brought in about 50,000 people, I think, between the two nights. I might be wrong about that. But, I mean, I'm sure a lot of those were repeats. But, something along those. It wasn't what they wanted for that building, and for obvious reasons. But this was, much like the last 2 weeks with AEW and Friday night on SmackDown, this was a jam-packed arena with a white hot crowd. And before the pay-per-view started, terrific kickoff show match. The Usos defeating Mysterios to become the new SmackDown Tag Team Championships by, of course, cheating in a very, very good match, which was really cool. Gave you a good feeling, having such a good match on the kickoff. It really set the tone for the rest of the night. The opening match was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match featuring Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Naomi, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, and the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Natalya and Tamina. In all honesty, I thought this was one of the most entertaining Money in the Bank ladder matches I've ever seen. I loved how all 8 girls had a very, very specific role in the match, and they played it perfectly. Uh, the strong-willed young upstart, the fiery young upstart Liv Morgan, the sneaky weasel Zelina Vega, Natalya running point guard, Naomi being a daredevil all over everybody, Alexa being this unstoppable monster, Tamina being a total powerhouse, and of course the winner, Nikki Cross ends up winning the Money in the Bank I love the finish of everybody just piles up all the ladders on top of Alexa. All the girls fly on top of the ladder, mad world style. And Alexa Nikki Cross just climbs over them like a goddamn little bug and grabs a briefcase down. It was a great finish. It was a great finish for a terrific match. Up next was the Raw Tag Team title matches, which wasn't bad. AJ Styles and almost defending against the Viking Raiders. I was really rooting for the Vikings in this match. I don't really like makeshift nothing tag teams like this as tag team champions. The most really impressive spot in this match is almost hits a gorilla press slam on Ivar or Hansen or whatever he's calling, whichever one he is. Very impressive gorilla press slam on a 300-pound man. That was insane. Eventually, the champs retain. I don't even remember what the damn finishing move was, but almost gets the win. This match was just kind of a bring down after the big ladder match. Not a bring down, but a cool down. You know what I mean? Up next was the WWE Championship, and to my knowledge, as far as I know, this was the first time 2 black men have ever gone one-on-one for the WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley defending against Kofi Kingston. And while the crowd was 100% behind Kofi Kingston, he never even came close. It wasn't a 10-second squash like against Brock Lesnar, but this was just brutal. Bobby just beat the shit out of Kofi for several minutes, finally put him in that hurt locker, and Kofi taps out. A bit of a heart punch considering, how much you're really rooting for Kofi and everything else. But nevertheless, it is nice to see Kofi back in the title hunt, period. Even if it isn't basically a long squash. But the bigger story here is that Bobby Lashley is just getting started in his world title run. And if the rumors are to be believed that possibly Lashley versus Goldberg at SummerSlam, I don't care about that. I don't want to see that match. Even Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at this point kind of feels like it's 3 years too late. You know what I mean? Anyhow, Lashley wins. Up next is for the Raw Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Charlotte Flair, which is technically a rematch from WrestleMania 36. I could care less about this match. The girls had good in-ring shit. They spotted and bumped well, sure. They had a storyline that they were telling, working Rhea's knee and shit like that. But just to me, Charlotte Flair's matches are always the same. They're always predictable and they're always long. They're always boring. I don't care. I can't stand her. The most interesting thing about this whole match is the crowd chanting for Becky Lynch most of the match. Eventually, Charlotte locks in the figure 4, figure 8. Rhea taps out, and now Charlotte's like 97-time champion. Literally, it's like, her tag titles right now count as world title runs. Her literally going from, we're changing this belt to be a new belt, and we're even going to give it a new title. But since you're already, it just made that's a title change now too. Just anything to get her closer to her dad's record. It's just disgusting to me. And I still say if it wasn't for the pandemic, they would have knee-jerk put the WWE Championship on her by now, just to compensate for Tessa Blanchard winning TNA's world title a few back when that happened around, I think, Christmas time of 2018 or of 2019. Anyhow, yeah, I don't care about this match. Becky Lynch is great. I can't wait for her to come back. I actually expect her to come back tonight on Raw. I was expecting her to come back last night, but she didn't. And I guess we're just going to get Becky versus Charlotte again. Yay. Semi-main event time is time for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Her contestants are Drew McIntyre, Johnny Drip Drip Nitro Morrison, Impact, Ricochet. Who's the fourth guy that was on Raw? Matt Riddle, of course, who I was actually rooting for in this match. Kevin Owens, Big E Langston, Seth Rollins, and King Shinsuke Nakamura. Unfortunately, I cannot even give you my opinion on this match as far as it goes as a match. My network started fucking up during the match package on this, and kept fucking up during the entrances, and it was like a straight 20 minutes. The show was virtually unwatchable. It would barely come in, just glimpses, pauses, glitches, no sound. That didn't stop until until the match was almost over. I got to see the finish. The match finally comes back in proper, the feed, with, I don't know if anybody else had this problem, by the way, Jinder Mahal costing Drew McIntyre the match, him and his henchmen dragging Drew off. Big E hits the big ending on Seth off a ladder and wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. A very pleasant surprise with Big E winning this. It wasn't as huge a surprise as Nikki Cross, but for something that's become predictably something that they want to put on heels usually with the Money in the Bank briefcase, I really liked the surprise of having two faces win this year. Yeah, I wish I would have gotten to see this match. Main event time. Bonafide dream match. Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Edge, the rated R superstar. And this match, to me, felt like a straight Attitude Era match. I mean, there's lots of brawling. Both guys should have been disqualified many times over because of weapon. Outside interference, the Usos get involved. The Mysterios run off the Usos. The referees get knocked out. There's finisher spamming. There's, like I said, weapons. Steel chairs getting used. They're using a bar across the mouth like they've been using the last few weeks on SmackDown. Seth Rollins comes out a second time to cause a distraction, fucking up Edge's momentum. Edge gets hit with a spear, and Roman retains the Universal Championship in a very, very fun, very, very good main event match. After the match, however, is the big story. Edge and Rollins brawl through the crowd. John Cena's music hits, and the show ends with Cena and Roman staring each other down in the ring. Okay. As an overall show, it was very, very good, and almost entirely because of this crowd. Yes, the guys put in good matches, but many of the finishes were kind of predictable. I liked the tag team title change on the pre-show. Charlotte Flair retaining was bullshit. Both Royal Rumble Money in the Bank winners were surprising and appreciated, and the main event lived up to the hype. John Cena returning was so predictable, but at the same time, I've pretty much not given a shit about John. I was a big fan of his, but I've not really given a shit about him since the whole WrestleMania 33 proposed in the ring. Just utter cringe-a-thon. But this ultimately plays into the one thing that people hate the absolute most about John Cena, is that even when he does lose, the losses don't mean anything. They don't stick. They don't have any effect. Now, the last time we saw John Cena on the show, he was dominated, humiliated, and dissected by The Fiend. So not only does none of that hold any weight, not only is he perfectly fine psychologically, but he's not even coming back to go after The Fiend. He's just going right after the championship again. It makes me want to strangle somebody. Anyhow, that was my thoughts. Overall, it was a great show, but it was mainly because of that insane fucking crowd. Anyhow, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.